This Days of Our Lives 2026 preview storyline is one of the most emotionally loaded and morally twisted arcs Salem has teased in a long time, because it doesn't just rely on shock value. It weaponizes love, grief, loyalty, and unfinished emotional business, and places them all directly in the path of characters who have already lost far too much. The revelation that all the DiMeras have been freed from the DiMera crypt immediately tells viewers that EJ DiMera is back in full control mode. This is not a man seeking redemption or closure. This is EJ clearing the board so he can play his next move without obstacles. Stefan being declared dead adds to the sense that EJ is choosing who gets to live, who gets to disappear, and who gets used as leverage. The most chilling part of this preview, however, isn't who is dead, but who has been kept alive in secret. When EJ visits the lab housing the cryogenic chamber, the tone shifts from corporate villainy to something far more personal and disturbing. This isn't about power or money. This is about manipulation at the deepest emotional level. EJ apologizing to the person inside the tube is the key clue. EJ does not apologize unless guilt benefits him somehow. Theo Carver's kidnapping and near-death experience clearly triggered something, and EJ's apology strongly suggests that the person inside the tube is someone who would hold him morally responsible for Theo's suffering. That narrows the possibilities drastically, and all signs point to Lexi Carver. Lexi makes sense on every emotional and narrative level. She is Theo's mother. She is Abe's first great love. She is EJ's sister. And she is someone whose death reshaped multiple lives in Salem. If EJ has indeed been keeping Lexi frozen, then this is not an act of love or remorse. It is a calculated move designed to dismantle Paulina Price. Paulina learning the truth would be devastating, not just because Lexi is alive, but because of why EJ kept her that way. EJ and Paulina despise each other, and that hatred has only grown stronger since Paulina became mayor. EJ cannot remove her politically, legally, or socially. She's too strong, too protected, and too entrenched in Salem. So EJ does what he always does when he can't win fairly. He attacks emotionally. EJ believes that resurrecting Lexi will destabilize Paulina's marriage to Abe. In his mind, Abe would never fully recover from seeing the woman he loved and lost come back from the dead. EJ assumes that Abe's loyalty would fracture, that old feelings would resurface, and that Paulina would be pushed aside without EJ ever getting his hands dirty. It's cruel, manipulative, and deeply DiMera, because it treats Lexi not as a human being but as a tool. This puts Abe Carver in an impossible position. Abe spent years grieving Lexi, raising Theo without her, and slowly rebuilding his life. His marriage to Paulina represents healing, acceptance, and a second chance at happiness. But Lexi's return would rip open wounds Abe thought had finally healed. No matter how committed he is to Paulina, seeing Lexi alive would shake him to his core. This isn't about romance alone. It's about history, shared loss, and the mother of his child standing before him again. Theo too is caught in emotional crossfire. He doesn't need his mother in the way a child does, but no one ever stops needing a parent they lost. Theo waking up to discover that his mother is alive after believing she was dead would be overwhelming, joyful, confusing, and painful all at once. EJ knows this. He knows Theo's presence will complicate Abe's emotions even further, making it harder for Abe to think clearly or choose cleanly. What makes this storyline even more tragic is that Lexi herself would never want this. Lexi loved Abe deeply, but she also respected his right to move forward. She gave her blessing to his relationship with Paulina because she wanted Abe to be happy, not torn apart by guilt or divided loyalty. If Lexi learns that EJ resurrected her specifically to destroy Abe's marriage, her anger would be swift and justified. Lexi would likely feel violated, used, and horrified that her life was put on pause so her brother could settle a political and personal vendetta. Paulina's shock then isn't just about Lexi being alive. It's about realizing that EJ was willing to play God with someone else's life to remove her from Salem. It's about understanding that her marriage has been deliberately targeted, not because it's weak, but because it's strong. Paulina is not a woman who backs down easily, but this situation strikes at her deepest vulnerability. How do you compete with a resurrected first wife? How do you fight a ghost made flesh without looking cruel? This storyline promises to tear apart the emotional foundations of multiple families, not through violence, but through memory, love, and manipulation. EJ isn't just creating chaos, he's forcing everyone to confront whether the past should be allowed to reclaim the present. And the most devastating truth of all is that no matter how this plays out, no one walks away untouched.